And to deny reality is futile. It will catch up with us. Yes, there is evil. Yes, there's evil influence. Yes, there are evil deeds. And I believe I was listening to the lies of the devil. When he said this to my mind, people say, did you hear the devil talk? When you get inspiration from reading a novel or something, can't you see typology and metaphors? Don't you understand impulses and thoughts? And don't you understand, like Joy Behar, she thought the vice president is dumb because he said Jesus talked to him. Well, I'm not agreeing or disagreeing with Mike Pence. It ain't about Mike Pence, but Mike Pence has the privilege. He ought to be able to believe what he would believe. And if his salvation teaches him that Jesus speaks to him, well, I got news for Joy Behar and everybody else. Then if she says we're crazy, I'm the biggest nut on the boat, friend, because he's talked to me all my life. I mess up a lot of people's theology, Joey, because I tell them this, and it might rub you the wrong way this morning. I knew God before I got saved. Uh-oh. Well, people don't like me to say that. They say, you never done it. You was dead in trespasses and sins. But Luther Sutherland's as sure as you're born. Down there in them high weeds, behind our little house that I grew up down there on Shooting Creek, I'd hear something. I'd say, is that you, God? That's you, ain't it, God? Hey! Granny said, just keep listening. He'll give you an ear to hear. Most people, when they're young, they go along. God tries their best to talk to them. And they just keep on going. They say, won't do this, won't do that, won't do the other. God's left back yonder saying, hey, it's me. Abraham wasn't so special, but he was walking along one day and God was speaking to everybody on the planet. But one day an old boy named Abram turned around and looked up and he was looking at the heavens. Hello? God smiled in glory, and the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost said, we found somebody that stopped just a little bit and had enough sense to listen. Abraham! Thank God he'll call you by your name if you'll let him tickle the ears of your heart and hear his voice. Then you're going to start finding truth. You don't need priests, preachers, rabbis, or senseis, or all the rest of it. You've got Jesus. He's the truth. Boy, I'm telling you truth. So we'd converse a little, and I believed in him. I even believed when Dottie got, you guys remember they wrecked on Sunday. Some of you remember, let your mind go back way when we was boys. And we'd go up in the auditorium of the middle school now and we'd have prayer every morning. I believed God. I said, God, let Dottie live. I remember one day just innocently and ignorant, I guess. I said, God, on my knees at the Marion Middle School auditorium up at the stage, I said, God, because I believed him, Emily. And I said, you let Dottie live, and I'll stop cussing. I sure did. I said, I won't cuss another lick, God. You just let her live. That must have been about Tuesday. And when we got to school on Thursday, they said she died. Now you want to deal with truth? Ain't no God, Mike Sage, because he let Dottie Kinder have a car wreck and die. Ain't no such a thing as God. Why pray? It's stupid. It's ignorant. There is no God. And if there is a God, he sure is a mean God. Take a little 12-year-old girl out of this world. But how are you going to react? The truth said we'd have bad things happen in this world. And that he'd be there. Yeah, I went to her funeral. is tough. And the truth said, boy, you ain't ready to go where she went. Thank God for a little girl looked me in the eyeball and told me, stop that mouthing. Leave Miss Ransom alone. You're worrying her to death. Found out later she'd helped her mama teach Sunday school at Mount Pleasant Church. So I reckon if God's going to... See, people say, God takes them. That's what Job said. And Job wasn't that far off, but I'd rather say God may not take them, but he sure receives them. Because God ain't the author of the pain that's in your heart. This world is. But I look to the hills, and whence cometh my help? My help comes from the Lord that made heaven and earth. So now Miss Kegley's telling me the other side of truth and more of truth. She said, Jesus will save you. Right now. Here come old devil now. You remember I said I told God I'd stop cussing? Old devil told me on Sunday morning when Ella was holding the doorknob and had the doorknob in one hand and my hand in the other. Wish she's here, she'd verify everything I'm saying. It blesses her when we talk about it. I said, now, Miss Kegley, I can't get saved today. She said, why not? I said, I just can't. See, I didn't tell her. But the old devil was messing with me. You can't live right. You're young and you still can't live right. You don't deserve to be saved. You got to stop sinning before you can get saved. You got to clean yourself up before you get saved. You got to get things right in your own life before you get saved. Hey, Mike Sage, you couldn't even stop cussing if it meant killing your friend. There's a little part of that story on Tuesday when I prayed that to God. Wilma, I done good. You probably remember all I'm talking about. She was one of us. I did pretty good all day long. Till between 5th and 6th period. And I would call his name, but he knows. That rascal come down the hall, Paul, and I was there at my locker, and I hadn't cussed a lick all day long, and I wasn't paying attention, and his first name's Johnny. And he come run down the hall, knocked into me. I dropped my books, went in the floor, and I come up Wilma, and I called him something other than a feller human being. I'll grab my, Tony, I remember grubbing my mouth and saying, oh, Lord. See, it scared me to death. Because I thought now, maybe she wouldn't live. So when Ella said, get saved, I said, I can't. I was thinking in my mind, old devil squalling. You couldn't even stop cussing if it meant saving your friend. What are you talking about getting saved? See, he couldn't hit me with that stuff that ain't no God. I knew better than that. But I was confused about him. And I was listening to lies. And you listen to lies, you'll go further into the darkness. And if the darkness in your life is religious piety or self-righteousness or condemning others, Jesus Christ said, how great is that darkness. For religious Pharisaical darkness is deeper and blacker than all the sins of promiscuity in this whole world. Lies. Boy, that's where a servant of God comes in. She saw the bewildered look in my face. She heard me say, I can't get saved. Today, I said, let me pretend. And if I live right, Ella, Miss Kegley, I said, I'll come back next week and get saved. That's exactly what I said. I said, let's see let's pretend, let's play act, I'll get saved. And then I'll go home. And if I can live right for 7 days, I'll come back next Sunday and get saved. That satisfied me. That satisfied the devil. And that satisfied his lies. But that sure didn't satisfy God and the truth. And an old spirit-filled junior high boys Sunday school teacher. She didn't worry about hurting my feelings. She didn't worry about putting me on the spot. You've heard me tell it. You hear nothing, you say nothing. She just reached over and politely shut the door. And you've heard me say this 1,000 times. I know the devil and the lie was in the hall. Because when she shut the door, I didn't hear them no more. And she didn't say, Mike, will you bow here and get saved? She said, go right there at that bench, get on your knees, and ask God to save you from sin. I bowed down there. And the greatest feeling that you'll ever feel. It's like being all hot and sweaty and thirsty. And all of a sudden, a forest rainfall, a waterfall, just went pouring on top of your head. Pure water. Cleaning you. Washing the sweat and the dirt and the grime. Tipped the head of my soul back and opened my mouth. And the water flowed in. And I ain't been perfect, but I've had a well in me all these years. And it's springing up into everlasting life. If you don't know the first stages and steps of truth, it's when you give the totality of who you are to the totality of who He is. And let Him be in charge of the criteria of your life. Mama can't do it. Daddy can't do it. Nobody else can do it. But He'll be there with you all the time. When you got critical decisions, He'll help you. And you don't have to depend on anybody else. Start depending on God and yourself. Don't trust no one else to break the power of drugs in your life. Trust God. Do right till the stars fall. Follow Him the best you can. With humility and honesty, integrity and wisdom. And He'll bless you. Well, we didn't get too far on the topic. Maybe we'll try to take it up next week. But being taught the truth. Class is in session for a lifetime. Ain't no 5-minute classes and you got it all. It takes a lifetime. And then faith will become sight. And whatever crisis, trauma, trouble, tear, challenge, battle, burden that you are facing, remember this, the truth is, you're not alone. He's with you in it. He'll be with you through it. And He'll be with you beyond it. He's the teacher of the truth. So let us be being taught by the truth.